I would say as someone who is pregnant with child right now, and people are like, do you want him to be a comedian? I'm like, God, no. I hope he does something useful. So I actually do not want nepotism to benefit my child.
Okay. Megan hates her child.
Wow.
Pretty brave. I want him
Pretty
to work
cool.
really hard.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Middle management for my little guy.
What kind of nepotism is Pundit getting?
Oh, Pundit. Look, here's the thing. Pundit's obviously a rescue.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
They have rescues like this dog?
I rescued Pundit from Mia Farrow. And let's get into it. What a week. In a move that should be a surprise to no one, the January 6th committee finally issued a subpoena to Rudy Giuliani. When confronted with a subpoena, a startled Giuliani released a disorienting cloud of ink from his scalp so he could make his getaway. The January 6th committee also requested a voluntary interview with Ivanka Trump to discuss her communications with her father during the Capitol riot. Ivanka told reporters she'd only share her communications if certain parts were redacted, since she promised her dad she wouldn't give his number to Don Jr. In response, Ivanka's representative tried to skirt the issue of whether or not she had been in touch with Donald Trump that day. Said her spokesperson, as the committee already knows, Ivanka did not speak at the January 6th rally. Like father, like daughter, that's dodging the question. It's like if Donald Trump said he never flew on Jeffrey Epstein's spaceship. Meanwhile, on Tuesday, the Supreme Court shot down an attempt to reject the mask mandate on airplanes and other transportation. They have yet to rule on my case, which would make it illegal to watch someone else's movie over their shoulder, even though it's the best and only way to watch Jungle Cruise. It is. That's, Christopher Nolan makes it so his movies are really hard to hear because you're only supposed to watch them in like perfect Dolby Atmos. The intention of Jungle Cruise, the artistic intent, is to watch it in silence over the shoulder of someone else on a JetBlue flight. Speaking of the Supreme Court, Justices Sonia Sotomayor and Neil Gorsuch also issued a joint statement this week denying rumors that the pair were at odds over mask usage, with Sotomayor explaining that she didn't ask Gorsuch to mask up after he recently appeared barefaced on the bench. I'm not wearing a mask because I refused a request by my colleague with a comorbidity. I'm not wearing a mask because no one made the request, which should be obvious to anyone with a shred of decency who isn't fully fucking pickled by libertarian and right-wing propaganda. If no one asks me not to shit in the tank behind the toilet, how am I supposed to know that an upper decker is frowned upon? Cancel culture. Following his massive Wednesday press conference, the White House issued a clarifying statement after President Biden appeared to suggest Vladimir Putin would face lesser consequences if Russia only launched a minor attack on Ukraine. The clarifying statement read, "He's doing the best he can, but fully a third of the sentences are coming out sideways. Everybody chill out. Can everybody just chill out? Who else but Biden? Who? No one. There's still fucking no one. Still, even now. Sorry. I'm just really stressed out since the news conference. Work remotely from Ukraine, they said. It'd be nice to get away, they said." So that's a White House staffer working remotely from Ukraine, dealing with the fallout of President Biden kind of misspeaking and kind of mangling a very sensitive issue. So it's a kind of a press staffer, obviously a weird time to work out of Ukraine regardless, but maybe because people are not there because of Omicron, thought he could get away, decided to go to Ukraine, which was a mistake. But the dual stress of dealing with Joe Biden being kind of pretty inarticulate in that press conference, plus the stress of an incoming potential invasion. During the press conference itself, Biden acknowledged Build Back Better will not pass the Senate as is, and suggestions said that he will attempt to break up the bill and pass certain parts piecemeal.
We can break the package up, get as much as we can now, and come back and fight for the rest later.
Build back in baby steps. It's dark. When asked during the news conference about his difficulty moving his agenda forward, President Biden had a question for the press and for the nation. What are Republicans for? What are they for? Name me one thing that they are for. This is an easy question. Here are some things they are for. Jeans that don't fit. Comedies where a dad rides a motorcycle and does carpentry but has a son-in-law who is coded kind of faggy. Legal and social structures that preserve their sense of superiority. Jokes about how if you can identify as a woman, why can't you identify as an octopus? Referring to virtually all criticism as cancel culture. Movies where a man has to save his daughter using guns and his ex-wife is super grateful and her new husband is coded kind of faggy. Politics that allow people to convince themselves that their selfishness is a virtue instead of a vice, and ketchup on hot dogs. Also on Wednesday, after 10 hours of debate on the Senate floor, Republicans used the filibuster for a fifth time to block action on a voting rights bill immediately after a vote was called to change the Senate filibuster, which was promptly struck down 52-48. Even worse, after the failed vote, Republicans allegedly lined up to shake Kyrsten Sinema's hand. They couldn't, though. Both of hers were holding wine glasses. So stupid. You did it, Kyrsten. You won the approval of 48 people, most of whom would call you a socialist child molester if it helped get the top marginal tax rate down to 36.5%. Thanks for the snap, sorry. You know who else gets snaps? What's Diaz. I got some Che Diaz snaps. Having accused Democrats of fake hysteria around voting rights in the filibuster, Mitch McConnell scoffed at a question about concerns black people might have about voting access come the fall. Said McConnell, well, the concern is misplaced because if you look at the statistics, African-American voters are voting in just as high a percentage as Americans. Then he launched into his closer, Americans fill out the ballot like this, but African-Americans fill out the ballot like this. Over in the House, Nancy Pelosi now says she is up for a ban on lawmakers trading stocks, explaining if members want to do that, I'm okay with that. This isn't getting fries for the table, Nancy. You should have a point of view, like getting fries for the table. A video of Dan Crenshaw yelling at a teenage girl during a Q&A has gone viral, with the Texas representative snapping at her when asked about a podcast appearance where he referred to Jesus as a hero archetype.
I can't wrap my head around this.
Well, I'll help you. Put a period after the word Jesus and don't question my faith.
Sorry, kid. You got crenched. In Tennessee, a jury awarded a Cracker Barrel patron $9.4 million after the man asked for a glass of water and was served a glass of corrosive cleaning solution. Worst of all, the restaurant refused to honor its free refill policy. So stupid. The jury also awarded $13 million to the man's date who ordered Cracker Barrel's meatloaf and was served Cracker Barrel's meatloaf. Thanks, Jared. Also this week, major airlines warned that the rollout of new C-band 5G service could potentially ground planes, stranding passengers, with the FAA warning that the new FG could potentially interfere with airplane instruments. I don't understand how 5G got to this point without resolving what is obviously a huge problem. Faster downloads is not a valid reason to risk crashing planes. The only valid reason to risk crashing a plane is if you're not as drunk as they say you are and you want to scare the normies by opening a door. Meanwhile, Maya Angelou has become the first black woman to appear on the U.S. Quarter. Maya Angelou, famous for her collection of poems on parking tickets. Hey, do you have any Angelous for the meter? That's it. We didn't really crack that one. Listen, if you're familiar with Maya Angelou's work, you'll know that this is something she would fucking love. Ghislaine Maxwell ended her legal fight to keep the identity of 8 John Does named in a 2015 defamation lawsuit against Jeffrey Epstein out of the public record, opening the possibility that their names will be unsealed. Don't worry, guys. I'm sure there is a very normal, non-felonious reason she fought for years to have these 8 names stay a secret. For example, maybe they collectively gave her that haircut. Fashion legend and former Vogue creative director Andre Leon Talley passed away at the age of 73. You never know how much time we have left, so please take a moment this week to tell your loved ones their outfits look like fucking shit. After several attempts to save a dog stranded on mud flats, threatened by a rising tide, the dog was finally lured to higher ground by attaching a sausage to the foot of a drone, which is how Ronan gets me to take out the garbage. And finally, Mars, the candy company, said they're going to redesign the M&M characters for a more dynamic, progressive world. So say hello to the newest M&M, Che Diaz. And finally, Mars, the candy company, said they're going to redesign the M&M characters for a more dynamic, progressive world. A spokesperson explained, now canonically, one of the M&Ms had an abortion. We won't tell you which one out of respect for their privacy. And finally, Mars, the candy company, said they're going to redesign the M&M characters for a more dynamic, progressive world. As part of the change, the green M&M will no longer just be sexy. Now she'll be sexy and plagued by guilt over a hit and run that she got away with. And finally, Mars, the candy company, said they're going to redesign the M&M characters for a more dynamic, progressive world. A spokesperson said, we heard you. And yes, these new M&M characters will have genitals. I'm so sorry. That was the last joke. Everybody applaud. We're back. In a new Vulture feature published this week titled The Undoing of Joss Whedon, the Avengers Age of Ultron director fends off accusations of behavior that is not just inappropriate, but also downright bizarre. Bizarre enough to make him seem like the villain in any number of Buffy episodes, at least from season 4, the worst season. Per Kendra. Adam was bad, famously. What's surprising about the Whedon piece is here we are 4 years since the invention of accountability. And we have genuinely innovative kinds of misconduct in the piece. Joining me now are two people who know their bizarre villains. Megan Gailey, who's here, also the host of I Love a Lifetime movie, an equally hilarious stand-up, and the very hilarious stand-up and recent I Love a Lifetime guest co-host. Please welcome back Jared Goldstein. Pundit, make room.
I'll stand.
No, she has to move. You have to sit.
You want to scooch this way? You want to scoochie this way?
I'll sit here. I'll sit here. I'll sit here. I'll sit here.
Wow, we got a real Joss Whedon over here.
Oh, man.
We definitely seem like we're in couples therapy and I don't know you're gay.
Yeah.
Megan and Jared, tell me, did you read the feature?
Yes, and I'm upset.
And what are your thoughts?
It's too long. Everyone keeps saying the world is ending, and I'd like for us to start creating content that reflects that. That was my headline thought. And nothing has made me want to not live in LA more than that piece of writing. I thought everyone in it seemed unhinged.
Yeah. I skimmed it. He sounds like a bad guy. I'll say that. Yeah.
In the article, Whedon tells the interviewer that he had been advised to go to the bathroom anytime a question makes him uncomfortable. Then he does go to the bathroom repeatedly during the interview. What kind of plan is that?
Not good.
Wait, he told them that they can't use the bathroom and then he used the bathroom?
No, I think they can. I think anyone can.
Anyone can. And he was doing it by going, I need to use the loo. Which I think was like, they won't know. Yeah. I actually don't think it's a bad plan to be going to the bathroom, but a bad plan to then tell the interviewer that that's your plan.
Although I will say, if you are going to use the bathroom as a place to escape hard questions, if you don't tell someone you're going to do that, and you do exit to use the bathroom several times, that will become part of the piece that there was something very wrong with you on the day the interview was conducted. Yeah. And I guess it's really, it's a no-win situation.
Mm-hmm. Tom did that on Succession, and it didn't work for him.
It didn't work for Tom. I was saying it is a Tom Wamgams move.
Yeah.
So do you think when he said someone told him, he's like, I watched Succession?
It's totally possible. It's totally possible.
Yeah.
So we've seen this around a number of big stars recently that there's starting to be less tolerance for kind of awful behavior that gets justified as oh, that's just part of their genius. Mm-hmm. I feel like the next conversation, obviously it took until 2017 for people to decide that sexual abuse in the workplace was inappropriate.
Yes.
But then, so low bar cleared, sort of. But the next conversation, it seems to me, is about, okay, what other kinds of behavior is acceptable, not acceptable? A lot of what's reported in this article is just sort of weird, bad shit in its own kind of category of odd. Obviously, there's inappropriate behavior that is described. There's also just sort of bizarre behavior. And do you think that that is starting to be is that the next thing that we're not tolerating as much, or is it still fine?
It's so Hollywood though. Even hearing those stories, I was like, oh yeah, I feel like I know 20 people that this article could be about, which is sad because there's lots of good people too. And I obviously know that his ex-wife spoke out against him a few years ago. It honestly seemed like there was more of an issue because people thought his latest movie was bad. If you don't make a bad movie, people will not bring up that you've done weird stuff.
Right, you can't have it. You can't fuck up Justice League. That's it.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and I think the weird behavior, it has to stop. I mean, if someone can write an article about it, you probably shouldn't be doing that. But that being said, though, I was on a TV show. It was on Quibi. Calm down. Where
was that a TV show?
Let me have this. Where I think I told one person once that I liked Pellegrino, and very sweetly they got me a lot of Pellegrino. So I was drinking Pellegrino all day, and then I was just burping all day. And it became like a thing where it was like, he's always burping. And I could see like, if that was like written down in like hard copy, I'd be like, God, I sound like terrible.
You're Robert Durst.
Yeah. So I think that's the line.
That's it. That is.
That's the line. Yeah. Right. We
Yeah,
found
you don't
it.
get caught burping.
Mm-mm.
And it also like, oh, that was just a bad day for me. I don't always burp like that. But now you're making
No, but it
excuses.
was like, it was every day because it was every day they brought me more.
They call you burp guy, you know.
Yeah.
I will say one of the things that did make me very upset was that his grandfather and father were TV writers. And I just think that that's an unfair advantage.
Well, that was, I think, it was,
Yeah.
yes, I didn't know that his father and grandfather were all like kind of successful TV writers. And then he gets these opportunities at a young age. And then he's such a prick to up and coming people that didn't have the same opportunities that he did.
Yeah. And some of that, I wonder if was a learned, like, this is just how it is, you know, which you hear. And I think that probably transcends Hollywood in some ways too, of like, we've now started to have conversations about like, is unpaid internships really fair for people that are not able to work unpaid? But to be bullied at boarding school in England, like that's so much money to get made fun of. Like just fucking go to public school, dog.
There's so much nepotism in LA. And I didn't know that he was a nepotism case until I read the piece either.
Right.
I think a lot of people, I didn't know that. But I always think with nepotism, it's like, okay, I find I'm resentful. Like I'm resentful of like the rich LA kids that get like every
Say that.
opportunity.
Yes.
But then I also think, but wait, a lot of people, you move here with the goal of being successful here in the hopes of having potentially kids here that get the nepotism that you so resented. Like, isn't the goal to have kids who get the opportunities that the nepotistic kids get that you resented when you were their age? So is the goal to make nepotism happen, but for you? The point is, fine, like you got to use these advantages, smoke them if you got them, but you can't be a fucking prick to the people that didn't. You got to be, if you're a nepotism case, you got to be so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know a nepotism case who is so nice, and it's honestly refreshing. But I did give them a gift once before I knew they were a nepotism, and then when I found out, I did want the gift back.
Wow. What was the gift?
$100 to like Postmates. Give me that back. Your dad is who?
Yeah. Sometimes I wish we just knew. Like if we could just know.
Well, and I would say as someone who is pregnant with child right now and people are like, do you want him to be a comedian? I'm like, God, no. You know, like I hope he does something useful. So I actually do not want nepotism to benefit my child.
Okay. Megan
I know,
hates her
pretty
child.
Wow.
Pretty brave. I want him
Pretty
to work
cool.
really hard.
Yeah.
Pretty neat.
Middle management for my little guy.
What kind of nepotism is Pundit getting?
Oh, Pundit. Look, here's the thing. Pundit's obviously a rescue.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
They have rescues like this dog?
I rescued Pundit from Mia Farrow. And I was so gripped by this Vulture piece, I kept thinking, wow, Joss Whedon sounds like the bad guy in a Lifetime movie, which brings us to a segment we're calling Joss, We Done With You. Some more Che Diaz snaps. Well, I will ask you, is this an actually wild, strange, and or awful thing Joss Whedon allegedly did? Or is it a plot line from a literal Lifetime movie?
Wow.
Okay.
Whew.
Bonus points if you can name the Lifetime film.
Okay.
Oh.
Yikes.
Yeah.
As always, the points are arbitrary and mean nothing. Are you ready?
Yes.
You just have to say if this is from Life or Lifetime.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to start with Megan.
Oh, God.
Joss Whedon allegedly suggested his girlfriend meet up with a female friend of his, only for the other woman to reveal that she too is Joss Whedon's girlfriend.
Okay, so that was Life. That was Life, but would make a great Lifetime too.
Jared, over to you. Joss Whedon allegedly rescued a woman from a terrible date, only for her to find out later that he had paid the man to be a total nightmare so that he could play the hero.
Life.
No, that's Lifetime. A film called Her Deadly Sugar Daddy.
Wait,
Megan, over to you.
but Megan, can I just say, I've been watching this whole show, and I gotta say, it's so powerful and chic of you when you get every question right and you don't respond to the bloop, the blue check, and you just keep on. You're just cool as a cucumber.
Well, my brain is just bloop all the time. You know?
And as you can see, I was just savagely red X'd right away. It really did hurt. I'm glad Pundit's here.
Hey, can we give Jared a good experience?
Yeah, give me some.
Nice.
Yeah.
He allegedly secretly offered a psychic medium $2,500 to come to his house and watch him write, whereupon he enticed her into a romantic relationship.
Okay, that is Life, and also feels like what Colin Firth did in Love Actually.
There's the re-examination of Love Actually that's coming, that is coming.
Yes.
That is not a movie. That is a terrifying film about people who do not know what love is and may never know what it is.
Yeah.
It is not Love Actually.
Right.
It is not Love Actually.
Mm-hmm.
It is actually not love. He allegedly fabricated text between his girlfriend and another man to make it look like she was having an illicit affair.
Life.
Time. Deadly Mile High Club?
Close. Deadly Infidelity. Original title, Fatal Memory.
Oh, wow. Ugh.
Megan for the Steal. He invited a woman to his parents' home only for her to realize he invited her exclusively to make his brother's ex-girlfriend with whom he was in love jealous.
Lifetime.
Film.
Lifetime film.
But what was it?
That film is something about the snow. It's cold.
Yes.
The Secrets in the Snow.
Yes. Holy shit.
You're
that
the
is
smartest
chilling.
person in America.
Wow.
There's nothing you don't know.
Wow.
Watching Lifetime movies for two.
This
you
is
know?
incredible.
I've been audited, so there is some stuff.
Sports, Lifetime movies.
What can't you do?
Wow.
What can't you do, Jared?
Everything that I can.
All right, Jared, next one.
Okay, I'm going to get this one right.
You are.
Say it.
Joss Whedon and a woman entered into a consensual owner and doll relationship.
Wait, say it again.
Joss Whedon and a woman entered into a consensual owner and doll relationship.
That sounds like life.
That is correct. They really did that. Amazing work. You know, what Jared's doing that you're not doing.
Oh.
He's making us remember his wins.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah. I'm being a man. I'm doing very little and I'm celebrating a lot. Yeah.
Another life lesson.
Yeah.
Joss Whedon allegedly became so enamored with a new colleague, he began dressing exactly like her, down to the accessories. Later, when asked about some obvious lies he told her, Whedon allegedly claimed not to remember because he had Parkinson's.
That is Lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not single black female, but it's close.
Mm-mm. I'll give you a hint. It starred Jamie Lynn Sigler.
The neighbor in the window.
Yes. Wild. Knowing that is wild. All right, Jared.
Knowing that is wild. Put that on the screen.
I think she should get an X for that, for what it says.
Yeah.
What it says about the life she's leaving.
It's a really, really good film.
They're pumping out so many of these movies.
Yes.
Joss Whedon alleged that Gal Gadot misunderstood him, shouting at her on the Justice League set because English is not her first language.
That's life.
That is life.
That's the part I skimmed.
And Gal Gadot told New York Magazine, "I understood perfectly." Absolutely devastating.
I mean, what a crazy thing. He's like, no, I'm not an asshole. I'm a xenophobe. It's like, what?
Look, obviously, being yelled at is just different in the U.S. versus Israel. It's opposite. After reading in a book she had authored that her worst fear was being broken up with on her birthday, Joss Whedon broke up with a woman hours before her birthday.
This was life.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
After being rebuffed following a brief fling, Joss Whedon attempted to date a woman's daughter in a twisted game of revenge.
That is
mine to answer.
I know.
Oh my God. Okay, now you're being a man. Is that life?
No.
It's Lifetime,
Oh, good.
and it's pool. It's a
Wow.
It's about a pool cleaner, the
Yeah.
pool boy,
Yeah.
psycho pool
Oh
boy,
my
Pool boy nightmare.
pool boy nightmare.
No, give her an X. It was wrong. She got it wrong.
Oh yeah, I got it wrong. What a bitch.
Wait, is it really called Pool Boy Nightmare?
It's called Pool Boy Nightmare.
And
These
I
are
have,
good.
And
These
I have
movies
a
are
major
good.
issue with it because the pool boy was not hot enough.
That sucks.
That
I will
sucks.
say this is a great example. They're living the start with the title and then come up with the
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That is the fantasy. Like, let's come with a list of sick titles and then let's make movies about them. Pool Boy Nightmare, great title.
Perfect.
Set and filmed in Encino.
Of course it was. Of course it was.
Authentic.
Look, obviously, everybody gather up. Everybody gather up. Thanks for being part of the production of Pool Boy Nightmare. I think we all got into this for the right reason, which is
Yeah.
creating art. So obviously a lot of really tense scenes, a lot of emotional scenes, a lot of scenes involving nudity. But I just know that over the next 6 to 7 hours of filming this entire movie,
Yeah.
we're gonna all. Joss Whedon identifies with Shakespeare's Richard III to the point that he mimes stabbing a knife into his stomach in front of the interviewer.
This was life.
Wow. After hearing about her difficulties with the adoption process, Joss Whedon allegedly invited a woman to his house for private yoga sessions and then attempted to break up her marriage.
Lifetime.
Yes.
Yes!
Psycho yoga instructor.
You bet. Again,
Psycho yoga
pool boy
instructor?
nightmare. Psycho yoga instructor. They are fucking doing it over there at Lifetime. Think about how hard everybody else makes Hollywood. You know, they're like, what do the characters want? No. Pool boy nightmare. Psycho yoga instructor. Done.
And the psycho
Greenlit.
yoga instructor is hot.
Yes.
Yeah, he's hot. They got
That's
that
cool.
casting correct.
That's cool.
Like, that's the whole job.
And finally, this is for both of you.
Oh.
Joss Whedon took to wearing a pink fedora only to have another man wear the exact same fedora while kissing someone in Joss Whedon's driveway just to confuse his lover who was watching from a plane.
This is Lifetime, and that is Deadly Mile High.
Fucking correct. Deadly Mile High Club. That rules.
Yeah.
Wow. And that's exactly what I was going to say. Given the opportunity.
Let me check the points. Jared, you won the game.
Oh my God. Yes.
Great
That makes
job.
sense.
The
Thank you.
steal.